Okay, you guys ready?
I don't know if you can pick it up and then pick it all back.
We're still waiting on inmates?
No, we got our inmates. I'm logged in though.
Oh, okay.
Is the Joe ready?
Hey, Judge.
How are you?
Honor.
Okay, are you guys gonna have everybody out so I can swear them in, or?
Yes,
I'm bringing them on now.
now.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Hey, stand against the wall. Stand against the wall on this side. On that side. Yeah.
Just stand against the wall and face that.
You got one right there, Lon. And seven.
That one?
And one and
That
two.
one.
Then you make one. Stand up, got the wall, got the wall, got the wall.
You know what, let me get 3 rows.
Stand right here. Hey, give them these. Let me see females on here. Come on, okay.
Everyone else fall in line.
He run this whole outfit, so.
You know what, John, we have a line right here.
What do you want this,
You gotta go behind the female.
Can you feel the right when you get back there? Who we taking that?
I don't know, you the last, you offer or?
We're going on with her.
Now,
Getting three.
right here. Yeah, right here.
You have to get a paperwork filled out.
Okay.
I like to go.
Come on.
Ladies. We got a mouth.
All right, will you raise your right hand for me?
Raise your right
You wanna
hand.
raise your right hand for me? Do you swear and affirm the information you're about to give is the truth to the best of your ability? If you so affirm, you can lower your hand. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We are not here to try your case or take a plea today. You're here for the court to inform you of the charges against you, advise you of certain rights, set bail on those offenses for which this court is authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up that right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if this case goes to trial. During this and all other proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to the indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation or misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses that are called to testify against you. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses on your behalf by subpoena. You have the right to testify and offer other evidence in your own defense, should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to do so, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. You have the right to have an attorney represent you. At this point, we will appoint an attorney to represent each of you. However, if you choose to have a private attorney, they need to file their entry of appearance, and then they'll resume or presume representation of you. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bond for your release from jail pending the prosecution of the case. You may post a cash bond, commercial, or property bond. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash together with applicable mandated fees to the sheriff's office, who will hold it until the final date of court, at which time the cash bond will be returned to the person who posted it. If you use a commercial bonding company approved by the sheriff, someone will have to pay that company 15 to 18% of your total bond as their fee for their service. This will not be returned to you. Some of you may post bond by using your property or or someone's property. If they have a net equity in the property and the amount equal to 3 times the total amount of your bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to or around certain places. This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from calling or having other contact with the victim while you are in jail and when you get out. Should you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you would not be entitled to another bond while you await trial. An additional charge of aggravated assault, influencing witness, or other charges as the law provides may be counted against you or brought against you, for which you could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison and fined up to $20,000. For family members who will assist you in posting bond, they will be provided information on your bond amount after we have concluded the first appearance calendar. If a family member is a victim on the warrant and there is a special condition that you are to have no contact with that family member, he or she will not be allowed to post bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before the Superior Court judge and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set a bond. Your bond can be reconsidered after your probation officer has an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant in violation of your probation. This is usually done during preliminary hearing. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify keeping you detained until such time as your case goes to trial. For those of you charged with misdemeanor only, you will have to obtain a waiver or waiving of your preliminary hearing. Waiving your hearing will not affect your right to post bond, your right to have an attorney appointed to represent you if you qualify for one, or your right to have a jury trial. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived and you will be mailed notice of when to appear in state court for your arraignment. If you cannot make a bond, you may waive your preliminary hearing and be taken before a state court judge, at which time, if you plead guilty, you will be sentenced. If you plead not guilty, a trial date will be set. If you choose to have a misdemeanor preliminary hearing, the hearing will be scheduled for May the 18th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. For those of you charged with felony offenses, you will not have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. However, we will schedule your hearing for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. All right, now I'm going to call you up one by one. When you hear your, please step up to the podium.
Emails.
Andrew Brown,
Andrew Brown.
This came, you come out here.
Andrew Brown, come on.
We put it over them or?
Okay, yeah, sorry. Because I always make you speak up. Just speak up. Just speak up.
You got the bond first, but you tell it down there.
all right, and you're Andrew Brown.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
No, I'm not clear. No, ma'am.
All right, sir, it is said that on or about April the 15th, you were driving a Chevrolet Suburban with Texas tags which were stolen.
You said
You
that-
also had a TS-16 Laser valued at approximately $45,000. The said item was reported stolen to the Clayton County Police Department from a job site on Frontage Road and I-75. The stolen equipment was located inside of the vehicle that you were driving.
Yes, ma'am.
The tracking device was located on the stolen equipment. During an inventory search of the vehicle, 3 blue pills, which is consistent with Xanax and suspected marijuana, was located in your book bag. That you admitted to having the drugs, which you thought was blue pills for enhancement.
Yes, ma'am.
It says that there's a penetrating radar that was also located that's valued at approximately $18,000, which was stolen out of Atlanta. So you're charged with 2 counts of theft by receiving stolen property, violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, that's for the Xanax, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Your bond is $41,500, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
How much is the bond?
$41,500.
That's the bond.
Your court date is set for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy.
Okay, so about the post.
All right, the next excuse me?
Ma'am, I'm sorry. You were saying the bond is 40,000?
$41,500.
Yes, that's the entire bond. It's not a percentage of that, correct?
That's correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we need,
All right, the next person is going to be Tory Brown, AKA Tory Sharp. After Mr. Sharp is going to be Antonio Bryant.
Who's Antonio Bryant?
And you are Tory Sharp, AKA Tory Brown. Do you know what you're charged with?
Based on the information that.
And do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or you want them read?
You can waive them. I mean, I read the information that he put there.
All right, you're charged with counts of theft by receiving stolen property. Your bond is $1,000, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yeah, what was the amount?
$30,000. Your court date is set for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you may return with the deputy.
You over there? Come on, next man on deck. Oh, possible. Okay.
And honey back, and honey back.
After Mr. Bryant is Elvis Chrysler, and you're Antonio Bryant. Mr. Bryant, do you know what you're charged with? It said that you, on April the 15th, you were observed by the officer crossing traffic while on a bicycle rear in the intersection of Conley Road and Jonesboro Road in Clayton County, Georgia. You failed to yield to traffic, causing your vehicle to brake hard and causing the officer to avoid hitting you. Once stopped, you gave the false name of Antonio Brown. You're charged with failing to yield and giving false name, address, or date of birth. You have an OR bond, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you or when you post bond. You may return with the deputy.
Thank you.
After Mr. Chrysler is Champagne Daniel, and you're Elvis Chrysler. All right, Mr. Chrysler, do you know what you're charged with?
No.
All right, sir, it said that you did commit the offense of battery on or about April 15th, on or about April 15th, when you intentionally caused visible bodily harm to Mila Johnson, with whom you live with. And you also, well, you both were fighting each other, you caused bruising to her neck. You're charged with family violence battery. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Mila Johnson, not to return to 1235 Creekview Circle in Riverdale, Georgia. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You do not have a bond at this time. It looks like you're on probation in 2 locations.
Oh, I'm not on probation.
All right, and do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I don't understand the preliminary hearing. I'm not on probation, though. That's not me. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Hello, Judge. Judge, we can't hear you.
You may return with the deputy. Did you get your court date, sir?
No, he didn't get anything.
I didn't hear.
All right, it's May the 18th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202.
Do I have a bond? A bond here?
No, sir, not at this time.
So I can't get out?
Nah, you ain't got no one. Come on, let's go. Let's man, stand
All right, after Mr. Daniel is Seth Gaddis.
Good
And
morning.
you're Champagne Daniel.
Yes, ma'am. Go stand right there behind me.
All right, sir, you're charged with family violence battery. Do you want to waive the formal reading of your charges, or you want them read?
Ma'am, I've been charged with this twice. That's double jeopardy. And my mama charged me with this twice because y'all threw the other one out yesterday. And how can I have two of them by the same person? And then I tried to talk to a detective before I got in here about the situation what's going on now. I caught her and somebody
All right,
else.
Mr. Daniel,
Ma'am,
you have 1 count of family violence battery with us. It said that on or about January the 8th,
yes, ma'am, that's
you
one.
did intentionally, stop interrupting me, please, sir. It says that you did intentionally cause substantial and visible bodily harm to an Amanda Galvin. It says that you did strike the victim with a closed fist 2 times. You also hit the victim on the back of the head and once in the face, causing the cheek to become swollen and cut. You do not have a bond at this time, sir. You're ordered to stay away from Amanda Galvin, not to return to 912 Kennesaw Drive in Forest Park, Georgia, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. This is a felony, as this is your second, and it looks like you're on probation already here in Clayton County. Your court date is set for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you may return with the deputy.
Next man on deck.
After Mr. Gaddis is going to be Austin Harris. And you're Seth Gaddis.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
You said yes? Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
You can read the charges, ma'am. You can read the charges.
It said that on or about April the 15th, you did operate a motor vehicle on Panhandle Road at Flicker Road and did fail to maintain your lane by crossing both the white fog lane and the double yellow line. And upon stopping the driver, the officer noticed an alcoholic beverage on your breath. Your eyes were red and your eyes were red and glassy, and you were unsteady on your feet. The officer determined that you were less safe to drive. He also found an open mixed drink of alcohol in your vehicle. You're charged with improper lane change, DUI less safe, and open container violation. Your bond is $4,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am. And with the bond, what is the bond? I mean, what is the percentage of that? Like if
You have to speak with the bonding company about that, sir. Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I would like to try to post bond.
Your bond is not going to be affected by you waiving or choosing not to waive.
Not waive, like not waive.
Okay, stand by to sign your waiver. Do you all have the waiver form?
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
All right, thank you.
Oh,
After Mr. Harris is going to be Benjamin McLean.
It's not preliminary. I said not waive.
Hey, Judge McFarland,
Yes,
he said he don't want to waive his preliminary hearing.
does not want to waive.
No.
All right, sir, your court date is going to be set for May the 18th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202.
Once you go in.
Oh, you know that?
You know what they are?
Come on, next, don't tell me you're down in the law
They
office.
are.
Step, I see us one. What you gonna do is step inside there, you gonna face the wall.
All right, after Mr. Harris is Benjamin McLean. And you're Austin Harris?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what you're charged with, sir?
Kind of.
Do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I got some sticky.
All right, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or you want your charges read?
I waive them.
Hey,
All right, you're charged with theft by shoplifting and criminal trespassing. Your bond is $4,000. Your order not to return to the Texaco at 4192 Jonesboro Road in Forest Park, Georgia. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver. After Mr. McLean is Rudolph Sanchez. And you're Benjamin McLean.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you know what you're charged with?
You can read it to me, please?
All right, it said that on April the 15th,
Put them in,
you did intentionally damage property owned by Kiana Groggins. It said that you damaged her bedroom door by punching it. The damage to the property totaled under $500. You're charged with criminal trespassing. That bond is $3,500. You're ordered to stay away from Kiana Groggins, not to return to the 414 Sandalwood Court in Morrow, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I'm gonna be honest. I really don't
I
know.
can't hear you.
When you said waiving it, I'm like, I don't know what you mean, to be honest with you.
All right, so I'll set your court date for May the 18th, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. After you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. You can return with the deputy. After Mr. Sanchez will be Varric Turner, and you are Rudolph Sanchez.
Yes.
Turner,
You know what you're charged with, sir?
Is it for not suspended license, running a stop sign and not changing my address on my ID?
That's correct. Do you want to hear the formal reading or you waive the formal reading of your charges?
What's that? What did
Do you want to hear the formal reading of your charges or do you waive the formal reading?
you say waive? What does that mean?
That you don't want me to read it all out?
Don't. It's
I
okay.
didn't hear you.
It's okay. You don't have to read it.
Okay, so you are stop sign violation, driving on a suspended license and failing to change over your address. You have an OR bond and you're ordered not to violate any laws when you post bond, and you can return with the deputy. Mr. Turner is Victor Wheeler, and you're Varric Turner. Do you know what you're charged with?
Some background thing.
And do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Who's it,
Yes,
Wheeler?
ma'am.
Wheeler.
Simple battery, sir, your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Terry Davis, not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I will.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
No, I will.
Stand by to sign your waiver. After Mr. Wheeler is Quantavian Baker, and you're Victor Wheeler.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what you're charged with?
Criminal trespass.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
No, ma'am.
All right, it is said that on or about October 15th, 2019, that you did intentionally damage your living grandmother Doris Elder's iPhone 6S Plus that also had a purple case, which is valued at $90 by throwing it at the wall, causing the front screen to crack at the bottom left part of the case, or the bottom left part of the case to break without the consent of the property owner. The damage was less than $500. You are charged with criminal trespassing. That bond is $3,500. You're ordered to stay away from Dolores Elder, not to return to 4438 Falcon Court in Conley, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes. How much would it be if it's 3,500?
You'd have to speak with a bonding company if you don't intend to pay the full amount. Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Will that affect posting bond?
No, sir.
I won't waive it.
Okay, that's gonna be set for May the 18th, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy.
Thank you. I put 500 on the bond. How do I feel about putting that towards it?
All right, after Mr. Baker is John Buckner, and your Quintavian Baker.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Baker, do you know what you're charged with, sir?
Yeah.
Talk to a bonding company.
You said no?
No, ma'am.
All right, it said that on or about April the 15th, you did strike Alexis Nicosi in the lip while she was trying to keep you from taking her things. This did take place in front of your 1-year-old child, Malaysia Baker. You're charged with family violence, battery, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Your bond is $8,500. You're ordered to stay away from Alexis Nicosi, not to return to 205 Chase Village Lane in Jonesboro, Georgia. You have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yeah. You said how much is it?
$8,500.
No, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I like to have it.
That's going to be set for May the 18th, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. Well, you may return with the deputy.
I can't hear you, ma'am.
You're John Buckner?
No. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you know what you're charged with, sir?
No, Your Honor.
You said no?
She can't hear you. Gotta speak
No,
up.
Your Honor.
It said that on April the 14th, you did commit the offense of pointing or aiming a pistol at another when you intentionally pulled out a firearm from your waistband and pointed it at Goin Maxon and stated, "I can kill you right now." It is further said that you did commit this act after asking Mr. Maxon, after Mr. Maxon removed a piece of wood from your backyard without permission. So you are charged with pointing a gun or a pistol at another. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Goa Maxon and not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I don't understand what's a preliminary hearing.
All right, I'm going to set it for May the 18th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. After you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court, okay? You may return with the deputy. After Mr. Graham is Johnny Harrison.
Johnny Harrison.
Brown?
Oh, Brown.
Brown and Harrison. Brown, Wilson, Poland, Harrison, right here.
All right, and you're John Graham.
Am I am?
Do you know what you're charged with, sir?
Yes, ma'am, some of them.
All right, do you want to waive the formal reading of your charges or you need me to read, to formally read them?
No, we gonna wait, ma'am.
I can't hear you.
We can wait.
All right, so you are charged with
Mm-hmm.
9 counts of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, which includes marijuana, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of heroin, possession of MDMA, possession of oxycodone, possession of Xanax, possession of shrooms, possession of THC, oil. You have a possession of firearm during the commission of a crime, possession of drug-related objects, additional, unlawful use of a firearm. And that was a sawed-off shotgun. And that additional possession was a possession with intent to distribute the Xanax. You do not have a bond at this time. Your court date is set for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you may return with the deputy.
Right here. Come on, sir.
After Mr. Harrison is Geronimo Lopez, and you're Johnny Harrison.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
No,
You're charged with theft by receiving stolen property and improper tag display. It is said that on April the 14th, you did operate a 2000 Ford F-150 with a 2015 Super Utility black and color trailer valued at over $3,500 on the highway inside of Clayton County without assigned trailer tags. The trailer was reported and confirmed stolen out of Fulton County. Your bond is $2,500 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
ma'am, it's already on my books.
Then do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it? You said, I didn't hear you, sir.
Ma'am.
All right, that's gonna be set for May the 18th, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy. All right, after Mr. Lopez is Jamari Love.
Yeah, she gonna need a translator.
Okay, so we'll have him last. I sent them the invite. I'm not sure if they're late on logging in.
Okay.
After Mr. Love is Charles Lyles. And you're Jamari Love. Sir, do you know what you're charged with? Right. You're charged with entering an auto theft by taking, fleeing from police officer, reckless driving. It said that on April the 14th, you did knowingly and willingly enter a vehicle and attempt to convert the vehicle to your own use. You were observed operating a black Lincoln SUV with no tags on Mount Zion Road near the intersection of Terra Boulevard. When the officer attempted a traffic stop with lights and sirens, you accelerated and attempted to flee at a high rate of speed on Mount Zion Road. Continued to disregard the attempt to stop, driving through traffic signals without stopping, driving through the gore and turning lanes, nearly causing several accidents on Mount Zion Road and Jonesboro Road, Terra Road, and Battle Creek Road. You were forced off the road at Battle Creek and Terra Boulevard and taken into custody, being extracted from the vehicle. The owner of Atlanta Fine Cars approached and advised the vehicle had just been taken from the dealer's property without permission. All right, your bond is $28,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond? I can't hear you, sir.
Oh, ma'am.
Your court date is set for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy.
Step right here in the cell. Come to the podium.
After Mr. Lyles is Justin Ramsey.
Step in the cell.
You're Charles Lyle.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what you're charged with, sir?
Driving under the influence of the container.
You're failing to signal before stopping. Do you want your charges formally read out loud?
Yes, ma'am. Have a seat. Yes, ma'am.
Step back in the cell.
All right, on or about April the 14th, it said that you failed to use your signal when turning into a mobile gas station at 7903 Jonesboro Road. It says that you was found to have a 24-ounce can of Bud Light, which is an alcoholic beverage, still cold, and had been halfway consumed, located in the driver's side cup holder of the 2000 Nissan Pathfinder. All right, so the failing to signal when turning, before stopping, open container violation, and driving under the influence. Your bond is $4,000. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond? Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I don't understand what that means.
Okay, so we'll set it for May the 18th, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. And once you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. All right, after you can return with the deputy. After Mr. Ramsey is Nathan Reynolds. All right, and you're Justin Ramsey. Are you Justin Ramsey?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Could you read me my charges bill, please?
All right, it is said that on April the 14th, you're charged with driving with no license on person, obstructing or hindering law enforcement, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, possession of drug-related objects. Saying the paperwork says that you drove and operated a black and color Kia Rio 2019 without your valid license on your person. You refused to get out of your vehicle when given lawful orders to do so. You resisted being placed into handcuffs, and in your left pants pocket was a small plastic bag that contains suspected marijuana. You also have blue gloves and inside of your pants pocket that contains suspected marijuana. Your bond is $5,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you postpone. Do you think you'll be able to postpone?
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me.
Waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I would like to have it, but can I ask you a question, please?
What's your question?
Not a question, but I can't really deliberate that right now, but I didn't refuse to go in handcuffs or refuse.
You have to speak with your attorney about the facts of your case, sir.
No.
All right, you can return with the deputy, thank you. And your court date, hold on, sir.
No.
Your court date is set for May the 18th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. All right, thank you. All right, after Mr. Reynolds, Michael Rivers, and your Nathaniel Reynolds.
Nathan, yes, ma'am.
And do you know what you're charged with, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right, it is said that on April the 14th, while executing a search warrant at 1354 King Road in Riverdale, Georgia, detectives located a digital scale with residue and a marijuana grinder all on the counter in the kitchen. Detectives also located a small jar with fresh marijuana residue in it in the bedroom, which was connected to your bedroom, or connected to the room that was advised that was under Miranda. All right, and none of the co-defendants took ownership of the scale and grinder. So you're charged with use of possession of drug-related objects. Your bond is $1,500 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you postpone. Do you think you'll be able to postpone?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I'm a little confused with that part. I was standing too far in the back and I don't understand that part.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and set it for May the 18th, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. Once you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court, okay? Thank you, sir. After Mr. Rivers is Robert Thompson, and your Michael Rivers.
Yes, ma'am.
What you're charged with, sir?
Assault and battery, but my charges were dropped.
All right, so it is said that on or about March the 24th at 9157 Terra Boulevard, you did knowingly and willfully obstruct and hinder law enforcement in the lawful discharge of their duties by aggressively snatching away from the officer while the officer attempted to place you in handcuffs. So you're charged with obstructing an officer. The bond is $1,500. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver. All right, after Mr. Thompson is going to be, did you all get the bond for Chandler Jordan.
Chandler Jordan, he's right here. There you got it?
Okay, he doesn't need to be first appeared. We have a consent bond on that one.
Come on, man. I didn't hear what she said. I'm here. You already got a bond.
All right,
I believe that's my clock,
you're Robert Thompson. Sir, you Robert Thompson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do you know what you're charged with?
I believe misdemeanor battery.
All right, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read?
Is that correct? Misdemeanor battery?
No, it's felony, sir.
Felony battery?
Yes, it said that this is your second, either guilty or found, pled guilty or found guilty June 20th, 2013. So it's a felony. Do you want the charges read, formally read?
No, I mean, that's the only charge I got, right?
All right, so it is family violence battery. Your bond is $12,000. You are ordered to stay away from Christina Thompson, not to return to 11356 Turner Road in Hampton, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No.
Your court date is set for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you can return with the deputy.
Is that it? Email. You're gonna take these email. Come on, guys.
Are you on?
Yes. All right, you have Bonnie King.
King. Face the wall, face the wall, face the wall, face the wall. You already played ball.
After Ms. King is going to be Destiny Rucker. Where, right here? Yeah. You're Bonnie King?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. King, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read?
You can waive it.
All right, you're charged with violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, use of possession of drug-related objects, reckless driving, fleeing from the police, knowingly driving on a canceled registration, driving with expired tags, improper lane change, driving on the wrong side of the road, open container violation and obstructing or hindering law enforcement. Your total bond is $19,500. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond? Your court date is set for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy.
I just go back in there.
Where you going?
All right, after Ms. Rucker is going to be Latavia Dixon. And your Destiny Rucker.
Correct.
Do you know what you're charged with?
I do, but they told me that I shouldn't be charged with anything.
Hold on. Do you want your charges formally read, or do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
You don't have to read it.
Okay, so you are charged with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 counts of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, use or possession of drug-related object, and unlawful possession of a firearm, that's a sawed-off shotgun. Your bond is $119,000, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. You think you'll be able to post bond?
I will be. Yes.
And your court date is set for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy. Speak to your attorney about the facts of your case, ma'am.
Go to say right.
She said, speak to my attorney.
Speak to your attorney. Who you need, Judge?
Say it again.
Who do you need?
Latavia Dixon. After Ms. Dixon is Jasmine DeBose. And you're Latavia Dixon?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Dixon, do you know what you're charged with?
No, you can tell me.
All right, it is said that on or about April the 15th, you did commit the offenses of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree and disorderly conduct. It is said that you did become irate, screaming, "B, I will slap you," leaving the victim, Nadia Whiteside, in fear of bodily harm. Wow. The victim advised that the offender then ran and jumped on her 2017 Toyota Corolla, denting the roof, causing approximately $1,000 in damages. Further said that you attempted to break the windshield of the vehicle, was unable to do so.
Ma'am.
And that you did admit to damaging the vehicle out of anger.
I remember walking, I told them
Your total bond is $6,500. You're ordered to stay away from Condra Whiteside, not to return to 1765 Mundy's Mill Road in Jonesboro, Georgia. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am. So I can't go back to my workplace?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Your court date is set for May the 19th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you may return with the deputy.
Do you have a paperwork to write down the bond?
Oh.
Got it?
Yes.
After Ms. DeBose is Myla Johnson.
Come on, Ms. Johnson. Just drop that.
And you're Jasmine DeBose.
No, I'm Myla.
All right, ma'am, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or you need it to be read?
You can read it. I mean, it's the same thing that's on the paper, right?
It said that on April the 15th, you are operating a vehicle on Georgia roadway while not having a valid driver's license. You're charged with driving while unlicensed. You have an OR bond, and you're ordered not to violate any laws when you post bond. You can return with the deputy.
I can get out.
I'm sorry?
I'll get out.
We gave you an OR bond.
Thank you.
All right, after Ms. Johnson is Iris Lady Sonet.
What's your name?
Or Masonet.
What's your name? What's your first name? Maya.
Then you're Myla Johnson.
Iris, my son. Oh, she got me mixed up. That's all I was like, what?
What's your name, ma'am?
I'm Mila.
Oh, no. Hold on.
Oh,
Who is Jasmine DeBose?
Who's Jasmine the Boggles? Come on.
You're Jasmine DeBose? Is this Jasmine DeBose?
Yes, yes, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, do you know what you're charged with?
You gotta speak up.
I cannot hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like your charges formally read, or do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
No waiver.
All right, you're charged with driving with no license. You have an OR bond, okay? And you can return with the deputy. Who is Mila Johnson?
Mila Johnson. Okay, now that's it.
okay.
All right, Ms. Johnson, it is said that on or about April the 15th, you did.
Your camera went out. Speak with Judge.
Oh, she's not coming. Hey, Judge. Hold on. Just tell her you can't hear. Oh, this dude here. Our dude I need to go see. Judge, you can't.
We can't hear nothing.
We can't hear you.
All right, you're Mila Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, it is said that you are charged with family violence battery. On April the 15th, you did intentionally cause visible body harm to Elvis Kressler. You did strike his forehead, causing it to bleed. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Elvis Kressler, not to return to 1235 Creekview Circle in Riverdale, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yeah, I can post it.
I can't hear you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, I can post it.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
So, if I can't go home and the preliminary.
Ma'am, do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I like to have it, I guess.
That's going to be set for May the 8th. That's going to be set for May the 18th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. Did you have a question for me?
All I have to do is pay the $5,000 and I get out.
Yes, but you will have to appear in court to answer for the charges, and they'll give you your court date.
So how do you just not, if I can't go to my own home, then what?
If you have belongings there, you need to ask the sheriff's department to escort you to pick up your belongings while the case is pending. But you can speak with your attorney about your options, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right, after Ms. Masonette is Latoya North. Iris Masonette.
Lord, come on up. Hold on. What's still going on?
Iris Masonette.
What's still going on?
Iris Masonette.
What's your name, ma'am?
Iris Masonette.
Okay, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes.
Would you like your charges formally read?
No, because it's my house.
Ma'am, you're charged with criminal trespassing. It is said that you did deprive or deny your juvenile daughter access into the residence. You're charged with criminal trespassing, and we've given you an OR bond. You're ordered not to violate any laws when you post bond. Do you understand that you cannot forbid her to go into the home? That's not the proper legal process to evict someone.
I not evict her. She run away home. I reported that run away home. And then
Hold on. Speak with your attorney about the facts of the case, but I just want to make sure that you're aware of these charges and what you cannot do moving forward, okay?
what I can do, what I can do. I don't understand.
Do you understand, Madam Interpreter? Will you raise your right hand for me?
Who?
Hold on one second. Do you swear and affirm that you'll interpret from English to Spanish and Spanish to English as you hear on this call today?
Yes.
I do.
All right, can you ask Miss Iris Masonette, does she understand what I'm saying? Does she understand?
Señora, la señora juez quiere saber si usted entiende lo que ella le está diciendo.
Oh.
¿Que no? No.
Okay, you're charged with criminal trespassing
Usted se le acusa. A usted se le acusa. Sorry. Go ahead and finish it.
Because you denied your daughter access into the residence where you both are said to live.
A usted se le acusa de invasión de propiedad privada porque usted le negó acceso a su hija donde presuntamente ambas viven.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you cannot do that. Do you understand that?
Y no puede hacer eso, ¿entiende, señora?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And she can speak to her attorney about her options at this point.
Entonces usted puede hablar con su abogado sobre sus opciones.
No tengo abogado.
I don't have an attorney.
We've appointed an attorney to assist her in the case.
Que hemos nombrado un abogado de oficio para ayudarle en su caso.
Y no tengo bond.
Do I not have a bond?
The OR bond.
Sí, tiene una fianza bajo palabra.
And you're ordered not to violate any laws while you're on bond. You understand that?
Y hay una orden que no puede infringir la ley mientras está en libertad bajo fianza. ¿Entiende?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you may return with the deputy. Thank you.
Muy bien, ya puede retirarse. Gracias, señora.
All right, LaToya North.
Yes, ma'am.
And then after Miss North, we'll bring back out Geronimo Lopez. And you're LaToya North?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what you're charged with, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges or you want me to read them?
I waive it, ma'am.
I can't hear you.
I waive the reading of my charges.
All right, it is said that on April the 1st, you did commit the offense. I'm not sure if that's April, yeah. That you did commit the offense of reckless conduct by endangering the staff at Southern Regional Hospital. That you went in there and you stated that you had the coronavirus and that you were going to give it to the staff. You began coughing on purpose on the desk and the counter when you were asked to leave by the staff and the medical personnel. After being cleared by the doctor, you refused to leave. And law enforcement requested that you do so. So you're charged with reckless conduct and criminal trespassing. Your bond is $7,000. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Amen.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I would like to have it.
That's gonna be set for May the 18th, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you may return with the deputy. And then Mr. Geronimo Lopez. All right, you're Geronimo Lopez?
Señor, usted es Jerónimo López. Yes.
Do you know what you're charged with, sir?
¿Sabe de qué se le acusa, señor?
No licencia, creo.
No license, I think.
That's correct. Do you want to hear the formal reading of your charges, or do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Correcto. ¿Quiere que le haga la lectura formal de las acusaciones o renuncia la lectura formal de ellas?
No, sí, hágamelo, por favor.
No, read them, please.
All right, it is said that on April the 14th, you did commit the offense of driving while on a road safety checkpoint. You did drive on the road with no license.
Dice que el día 14 de abril se le acusa de la infracción de haber manejado sobre las vías que descubrieron que no tenían licencia en un retén de seguridad.
You're charged with driving without a license and you have an OR bond. You
A usted
understand
se le
that?
acusa de manejar sin licencia y tiene una fianza bajo palabra. ¿Entiende, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, you may return with the deputy. Thank you.
Muy bien, señor. Ya se puede retirar. Gracias.
Oiga, ¿no se puede pagar la fianza?
¿Cómo?
¿No puedo pagar la fianza? ¿No la han pagado?
I can't pay a bond, or they have not paid my bond.
It's a bond on your own recognizance, so nothing needs to be paid at this point. If this is the only reason you're in custody, you should be released sometime today.
La fianza que usted tiene es una fianza bajo palabra, así que no se tiene que pagar nada en este momento para salir. Debería salir en libertad si no tiene nada más que lo retiene detenido en este momento.
Está bien, muchas gracias. Oiga, nomás una cosa, nomás quería ver, tengo una hija de 14 años y ver qué cosa voy a hacer con ella, porque nada más yo estoy pues con ella. Apenas es nacida aquí, apenas llegó en noviembre pasado. O sea, no este noviembre, sino el otro.
So I just have one more question. I have a daughter, she's 14 and she's here. She was born here, she's been here since last November, not this November, but November past.
Here where?
¿Aquí dónde, señor?
Está allá donde vivo, pues, donde estaba yo.
There where I live, where I was.
Está con una
Okay,
tía.
he needs to speak with his attorney regarding.
Necesita hablar con su abogado al respecto, señor.
Sí, pero no tengo abogado.
Yes, but I don't have an attorney.
We've appointed an attorney to assist you.
Hemos nombrado un abogado para ayudarle, señor.
Está bien, muchas gracias. Nomás quería saber porque pues ahora sí ella está sola, no, o sea, está con un familiar, pero pues no, yo le dije que se fuera para allá mientras sabía yo que qué pasaba, porque ya vinieron con un adulto a ver si se pagaba la fianza, pero pues no sé, me dijeron que no me encontraban.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to know, because she's just 14 years old and she's there alone. There is a family member and I told her to go with them until I find out what's going on. I don't know if she was allowed to pay the bond unless she's with an adult.
Okay, unfortunately, I don't have that information. You can speak with the jail, but like I said, unless you have a hold for some other reason, you should be released today and you can see about her. I don't have any information. If
Your Honor,
not, uh-huh.
Your Honor, there was an additional part he said that I failed to mention,
Okay.
that they tried to look for him, but they couldn't find him.
Him, the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
The inmate?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, he, like I said, if there's no hold, he can be released today. If not, if there is a hold for some other reason, then he needs to speak with his attorney about all of those factors, because I don't have that information and I can't really assist on this end based on that.
Bueno, señor, lamentablemente, dice la señora juez, no tengo esa información y no puedo ayudarle con eso. Pero si no hay ninguna orden que lo mantiene detenido, debería salir hoy más tarde. Y ese problema lo tendrá que consultar con su abogado.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome, and you can return with the deputy.
Ya se puede retirar, señor, con el oficial.
Gracias.
Okay, deputy, is that everyone?
That's everyone, Judge.
Okay, hold on one second. I think there is counsel on the line. Counsel, who's your client? They must have gone before you logged on. Counsel Jimenez?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry about that. My microphone was on mute. Yes, I'm here for Jordan Gibson. Just wanted to confirm that he was given a consent bond.
Yes, but I imagine because of the lateness in signing and sending it over, they brought him down, but I did express to them that it was signed.
Oh, perfect. So I just want to make sure I'm not needed and that everything was in order.
Yes, it was signed. Everything to my knowledge is in order. So that should be processed within the next few hours. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
concludes
you.
my business with the court. Have a good day.
Sure. Have a good one. Thank you. All right. That's everybody, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You all have a good one. I'm going to end the meeting. Okay.
All right, have a good day.
All right, Judge.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That's everybody, right? Okay. You all have a good one. I'm going to